But today I am here to share a part of my life and share you a story and hope you take it as a reminder to yourselves. So when I was about 16, I decided that the only useful skill you can ever develop is sales or selling. So what any normal 16-year with a big ambition did, I did nothing. So fast forward the year, I'm now a year older, wiser, I'm 17 now. And I really told myself the idea that sales is the only most practical skill you should have. And again, I still did nothing. So if I could just grab that kid today, I would just smack him, because on the same year, our family business got into financial struggles and everyone had to start contributing. And like Elon Musk in Tesla, when times get hard, we decided that no matter what position you are now in sales. Because we needed money coming in, right? And sales is the lifeline of any business. So as a cocky 70-year-old overconfident guy, I was like, whatever, I can do that. I learned all the features and benefits of our product, and I really dove into how to pitch it. So that's cool. I got very soon my first business meeting. I was really excited. So I even pre-filled the contract beforehand so I could just take it out on the table and smack it there and just sign this and we're cool to go, and then we can do business together. So I went in, I did the presentation. I was really confident. I thought this is a sealed deal and almost pulled out the contract. Then I sat down. The client sighed, looked me into the eyes, and then it happened. What the fuck was that? Who do you think you are, you little kid? You punk. Do you have any respect for this industry? And I was shocked. The dude was 3 times my size, like a hairy, well-eaten guy, let's say. And I didn't know what to do. I was like deer headlights, and I was just sitting there and wondering what's happening now. So when he calmed down, he gave me the most memorable life lesson I've ever had, and that's the life lesson why I'm here today as well. He told me that there is 100 different ways he can solve his problems today, but he needs to understand who is he dealing with. Selling and business overall, it's all about the people. He asked me, who are you, Mihkel? What do you bring on the table? And will you be here when shit hits the fan? Needless to say, I did not have any answers to his rhetorical questions. And it kind of went like that I was just nodding there and sitting and that's true, I suck, okay, thanks. And there's no Hollywood ending to this, unfortunately. I bet that guy still doesn't like me. But in retrospect, when I left there and I was, let's say, walking back home, I think I was walking then, I understood that I need to focus on myself and how to integrate myself into the sales process and show really the value there, what I can bring on the table. After that, the lazy 70-year-old kid just went away, and I dove in very hard. I went to any sales profession I could. I started off at telemarketing. I did door-to-door selling, and ended up in high deal, high value, long-term sales. But I always remembered and I always implemented the mentality of sell myself first. So after a decade, just for the day here, I have mapped out 3 of the most impactful, let's say, things or mentalities or actions that could, let's say, help you to sell yourself more or first. First thing, spend the money on yourself. Yes, and I'm using here spend, not invest, because we always say invest. Let's be honest, we're spending here. And this is what it means. Buy those clothes you like that make you feel good. Buy that watch that makes you feel fancy. And yeah, usually when I practice this and said to another group, the women got really excited. Oh yeah, I can do that. That's cool. I validated all the spending. But that's the point here, that it's gonna make you feel confident. And confidence is really key, but really, why am I suggesting to create superficial confidence to yourself? And yes, we do need to hear or say that it's superficial because it's item-based, so you're tying your confidence with, let's say, emotional purchases, some items. And it's because we all have those days we don't want to get up. Yeah, no, not today. There's no motivation there. And it's normal. Motivation is a finite resource. You cannot have indefinite motivation. But what I'm telling here, if you purchase something with a positive emotion, it becomes an emotional trigger. And if you tie that trigger to a mentality of discipline, you're not ever gonna need motivation again. You're gonna push through those things. So like I do, this suit as well. This suit is basically bought from the same perspective. So this is a uniform, and this uniform comes with a code. And when I put this uniform on, I am that kind of person that follows that code. And I do have, and everyone else, we have many different, let's say, eyes. And when you change your uniform, those codes change with it. So let's create yourself a uniform. Now, so spend the money on yourself to feel confident. The second thing, that's for me, it's a really cool one. Think yourself as a product. So it's highly likely that everyone here has some form of understanding from a project management model or a development model, like a software development model. Use that to develop yourself. So it's a fun, creative exercise to put developing yourself into that kind of a model or a structure. And why to do that? The first thing, like I said, it's gonna create structure. So you're not gonna have that much uncertainty on what's the steps you need to do or what the next step is. Also, it's kind of, if you do it right, it's really fun too. But if you do have like a skill or you need some practice, you need some reps, put it into that structure that you know and use it. Like take a step back, think of yourself as a third person or think of yourself as a product and use the method you already have. Don't learn anything new. Because the method really doesn't matter. It's just that you create the structure to yourself. Now, cool thing is that my personal favorite is to use the Agile method, how most basically software today is developed. Yes, do the sprints, do the design, review, testing, and everything between them. But the pro tip here is do it with a team and do it with someone else. Because then you need to open yourself up as well. You have to be vulnerable. And if you do it with a team, it creates an added benefit of you're gonna start building courage. Because yeah, we all know that if you open up to anyone, you get feedback from there, and as the agile development, let's say method or sprints, they dictate you need to get feedback there, reviews and such. So it's really cool to do it with a team, and you'll get the best results and probably the fastest one too. So that was second. Think of yourself as a product. Third, this is the hardest one. This is the most, let's say, kind of most intangible one, is that understand that each and every encounter, you are the biggest and the most unique value you can bring on the table. And during those tough days, that's really, really hard to do. Believe me, right now, when you're, let's say, hype up maybe from the conference or some small victories are coming in and the energy is high, that's cool. But when the times get rough, it's really difficult to remind yourself that I am the most unique value. Your upbringing, your values, your ethics, your connections and network. Now, I can guarantee China cannot copy those. And or at least I dare them to. It would be cool to see. And if you understand this principle that you are the biggest value, the most unique one, and uniqueness goes up to that point that no one is like you. I can guarantee that. And if you get this in your head, it comes with a sense of bliss, a sense of, let's say, a sense of calm. You will never, ever doubt again what you are selling or what the value is there. Because what you are selling, that's you. And in the practical perspective, you control the product. That is you again. So as a salesperson, with this mentality, you can jump into different sectors as well, and it makes it a lot more easier. So these were the three things that I mapped out that I have seen myself experience, my teams and my clients' experiences combined together that has helped out the most. There are a lot of nuances to these three things, but we can discuss them another time. So, first thing was, spend that money on yourself, spend until you're confident. Second thing is, think of yourself as a product. And the third most important thing, you are the unique value that you are bringing on the table. I think these are some of the things that I daily think about and how to improve those things. So what are the practical points of this? Why to sell yourself first? So the practicality is that in every sales process, it's still really important to understand what are the client needs and what their problem is. But as we are taught mostly today, start bombarding the customer with questions. Now that experience sucks. No one wants to, let's say, have an encounter where someone comes in, they have no credibility, no value really for them, and starts asking questions. Now, selling yourself has to end up in that point where the customer invites you to ask questions and more detailed questions about them, their problem, and what their real needs are. And then really, you can get those quality answers out of them. And you can decide if your product, your solution, is even valid for them. And that's another topic, but I never sell anyone anything that they will not get 10x value from it. So that's the first practical thing. The customer will open up. Of course, this is named otherwise as well, like building rapport and trust and such. But selling yourself as a mantra, as a mentality, it's one way to approach that. Now, the second practical value that I wanted to bring out was, let me see. Yeah, I have talked all of my key points. So increasing perceived value. That's the second practical part I wanted to talk about. If you can, like I started off, that we have hundreds of ways, our clients have hundreds of ways to solve their problems. But if you integrate yourself into that product, if you think about what you add there, you can definitely add some more perceived value. And as a sales basic, sale is always and only done when the perceived value by the customer is a lot more than the cost will be. So, and this is something that I work a lot with all of my teams and customers or clients, how to get the perceived value up. Okay, I wanted to touch a little bit about the team perspective or team management perspective at Sell Yourself First. So when I work with teams, I ask them questions like, what's your sales culture in the team? And what are your traditions? What are your, let's say, basically traditions or rituals? And usually the answers are quite, let's say, quite defensive, I would say, if I ask these kinds of questions, because they don't really have those. Some do, some don't. Most of the times they are very shallow and not really practiced. But what are the benefits of having, let's say, rituals and traditions? It's building each and every one of us up. So it's kind of like if your ritual is to celebrate, that's awesome. If your ritual to say come into the office and let's say high five everyone, this kind of builds the mood up, and building up the mood and building up each other's confidence is something that every team needs to do, especially in sales, because then your team will help to sell yourself later. Okay. Wrapping it up, really, there are no specific tactics or strategies how to, let's say, sell yourself first. And all I wanted to do is leave you with this phrase. It's like a mantra. It's something to remember. And the value of it is that you always have a structure to rely on, or a mentality to rely on, going into any encounter that you might have. And also, it kind of, for me, kind of works as in such a way that when I repeat it to myself, I get really confident, I get my uniform on, I know what to do, and I go and conquer whatever I need to. So remember, sell yourself first. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mihkel, for this truly inspiring presentation. I have a really practical question.
Sure.
So I do what Mihkel said. I educate myself, I develop myself, and then I come to you and I'm like, Mihkel, I am the best at what I'm doing. How am I supposed to do it in a way that I don't come off cocky, super overconfident, full of bullshit?
Yeah, oh my God, that's the classical one, right? So the rep that salespeople have, it's amazing. Yeah, I love that. It's kind of personal mission for me to get it better. Really, the answer is just to be a freaking nice person. Don't be. The sales is about service first, and that's never gonna change. If you come into a sales encounter and you are only checking it from your perspective that you want a sale or commission or it's like dating, yeah. If you come across needy, you're gonna suck. And so just be a nice person, and the cockiness. You said that you are confident. You know everything. Be confident, know everything. Just don't be cocky and chill down if you need to, and be a nice person.
All right, be nice people, and then you get everything what you want.
Don't overcomplicate it. Yeah, cool.
So thank you so much, Mihkel.